And not too shabby. Ooh. Interesting little start here. I almost regretted immediately raising the torch, but it worked out at the end. And on the road we go. Oh my gosh. Again, didn't realize we were running a convention. Thought this was just a regular stream, but Spriggans, oh my. Well, drop some poison on them. Not like there's a whole lot they can do against that, and fantastic. Oh, what do we wish to do with you? Drop you in real quick. Sacrificial zombie here. And then, I might actually, never do as I do, folks. Do not head into the unknown. But I did want a slightly more open space here, at the very least. What can I do to ensure some additional survivability for my friends? Let's buff them. Can tell that the enemy or people with lightning resistance may sometimes resist this. Might have been a bit of an understatement. It's looking like enemies with lightning resistance are pretty much immune to the stun, which I did not expect. But we'll see. We'll continue to accumulate knowledge on that data point as we go on here, and we shall see just how the game treats as we go forward. We only have one more torch, but we do have some shackles that I've heard are fathomless. So, might be our best bet to throw that out here early. And let's see if we can't capitalize, shall we? I'll even hurl some torchlight. Maybe. That's not quite hitting as solidly as I would like, and so we're not going to worry about it. And kind of glad that we didn't, I guess, because this is going fairly smoothly overall. I'm going to have to work pretty hard to keep Sojibo alive, though. In fact, might have waited one turn too long. Hopefully not, though. Dreams of sun, orbs of fire going up in smoke. Oof, oof indeed. Unfortunately, it's not looking ideal at the moment, but never say never. Okay, we stand up here to try and divert some fire. Don't know if it's really gonna have much of an impact overall, but I like to believe. Then let's take you kiddos and just suck you back over here. I'm curious, there feels like there should be some interplay between the tambourine and condenser clouds. Specifically, if we get like a nice section that has a good frequency of really strong clouds, and you know, strong being relative to what that encounter is at the moment, or whatever encounter we're dealing with at the moment, then I could see that being quite strong to just ensure some level of additional damage. I want to use it again. I'm very worried about my son Sojibo here. I guess other option, let's hurl torchlight. Hope that that does enough damage to potentially help keep everyone alive. It's the gold dragon that I have to be worried about too, so I should poke past the bone dragon. Anything with just melee hits, please and thank you, come my way. In fact, I encourage it at this point. Okay, that one had me concerned, but we're fine. But we're okay. Sojibo, just stay back there. Stay back there, please. Do not talk to me or my son ever again. Holy moly. You survived. Oh, my sweet prince. And nothing really standing out to me there, so let's just finish off the rest of this floor. Hopefully we've kind of dealt with the biggest affronts to our continued survival there. Apparently not. So I rush into this one a little bit headstrong, it seems. But with this crew, shouldn't have too much problem, and that is fantastic. Okie dokie. Well, that should be the rest of this floor without too much further ado. There we are. And so it's just our third rune and Zot remaining. Okay, we'll probably try to, there's still a chance we are able to wrap this up this evening. You know, I say that, then I remember that this is what we're looking like right now, and I'm not quite as confident. It feels like the type of run, as we've seen many times with me in the past, where I rush it into Zot and then end up dying in some embarrassing fashion right at the finish line. So we'll see. Let's play it by ear. Let's not make any commitments or promises, and we'll see if we end up getting to that point tonight, or hey, if it has to wait for next week and we manage to in doing so keep Grug MD alive, I'm not going to complain too much. But what next? Where do we want to go for our third rune here? I'm curious how Abyss works. Can you only raise your torch one time in each level of Abyss? Because that is very restrictive, and that could definitely trend us towards not choosing Abyss as our third rune. Vaults, I was thinking about earlier. You know, we have our fathomless zone that we can put up. It's all right. It doesn't block sightlines, unfortunately, so it's not quite as good of a fit as like in our last run. We saw Wu Jian's Heavenly Storm, actually really solid for Vaults 5. Shackles will still be good. You know, it'll get some pretty solid damage off, but that's about it. It's also tough to light our torch in there, because usually it comes with a decent chunk of stair dancing, backing out and going back in. We do have 10 haste potions, I just noticed. So that's alright. The only thing then is that we'd want our condenser vein back, so maybe what I'll do is let's go to Elf. Let's take a peek, see how things are looking, see how things are feeling. And if it's a bit more up our alley, right, we could also go here actually. And this will be a nice little cakewalk. You know, it's a good way to get R&R when you're making your way through the dungeon. Actual naps don't really do anything for Grug here. Unfortunately, you know, just don't feel rested after a good nap, but some good old-fashioned slaughter and zombie raising. Now that just sounds like a good old roll in the mud here. Sack of spiders. Sure, I'll grab that while we're at it as well. Won't need torment scrolls anytime soon. More fog. Sure, let's do it. Mark the mutation, and then let's actually head to that elf, shall we? That there, them elf that everyone be talking about. Recall Sojo here. Sojabu, as we've come to know and love them. And otherwise, we do some murdering. Fantastic. Just keep an eye on our condenser vein. As soon as that's online, we'll have to make a call whether we want to continue any trekking through Elf here, or if that's when we call it and go back to the main programming here. And yeah, not looking too bad in terms of our ability to face off against the majority of elves here. Of course, air elemental is not going to be a whole lot of use against any of the dancing weapons, but That's fine, buddies. You're doing your best, and I appreciate you for it. Let's not hold our weapons up to too high of a standard now, shall we? Oh, dang it, +5 Vampiric Great Axe. Why you gotta make this so tricky, game? Because I do kind of want to use that. Again, it's probably not worth losing our cold resistance, losing the 12 shielding that we have going on there. But at the same time, isn't it? Definitely have a much better time just, staying alive. Don't know if that statement's true, but I thought of the Bee Gees joke, and so I had to go through with it regardless of actual sense and reason. Our attack delay with it is already pretty dang solid. 36 damage rating. So damage goes up quite a bit. We lose our electricity resistance as well now that I think about it. So not great. In fact, I kind of forgot that Octopus Spear, or Trident rather, is giving us poison resistance, so we really need to find a replacement for this this main armor piece that we're wearing. Maybe that harm chainmail, no longer looking quite as horrible now, is it? And I'm shocked still no acquirement in all my days and all my stars. But there we go. We've fully recharged everything just in Elf 1. I mean, it did go fairly smoothly, so there's the temptation present to continue downwards. Because I could see us getting some solid additions in the final area. Regardless, let's actually learn Revivify. It's not at all at a place we'd want to use it, but let's say I'm at like 1 health, surrounded by enemies. I don't care about a 21% failure rate. We're rolling the dice. So I think that may or may not work out for us in the future here. Do I really want to fight Vaults 5? I don't. Sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen. Is slime better though? We don't have amazing AoE. Again, we have our shackles of the unfathomable variety. It's unfathomable. It's without fathom, as the kids say. Oh me oh my, brain is not firing on enough cylinders for me to have any kind of cohesive thoughts or opinions on which path I'd like to take here. I'm just thinking about all the enemies that we find in vaults versus some of our good old slimy boys. And it'd become a battle of attrition at a certain point. Fortunately, even though we can't get zombies of any kind of slimes, I do believe we'll get the little like spiritual apparitions. So there's something to it. Maybe let's play it safe. I'm gonna finish Elf. Gives us a bit more time to mull over any potential decisions in that regard as well. I don't know if I ever raised the torch on the previous floor. Oh, that's silly of me. You of course don't gain any piety while the torch isn't raised, so I was just kind of losing it like sand through the fingers there for the entire floor, but that's fine. Not the end of the world by any means. And let's just keep on keeping on instead of dwelling too much on our previous mistakes. It's a lesson that you learn quickly when you make as many mistakes as me, because otherwise I'd be spending the entirety of my years here in regret. And to dust off an ancient meme, ain't nobody got time for that. Okie dokie, not too shabby. My only issue with continuing our trek here is that leaving Orc 3 as an experience well also might be a pretty solid idea for the potential future in which, oh, excuse me, in which I need recharges on all my evocables, but hey, maybe that's fine. And then in this fight, you know, we're seeing a lot of folks around. So I think I want to run to the stairs. I'm not going to lift the torch quite yet. So this is very easily a floor that we could see ourselves wanting to escape from in short notice. So we'll try to keep that in the back of our minds here. In fact, this is kind of already hitting that department in my books. Maybe not. Maybe we actually still just win this fight straight up. And not even that difficult to do so. So it turns out I know nothing. Haven't played this for a while now. How's the torch been? Seems like a really interesting mechanic. Is it fun to play around? Challenging versus frustrating? I think so. I mean, some of that may be informed by the fact that I've never been a huge fan of stair dancing. I like committing to a floor. So I think that it synergizes well with my brain and how I like to play the game. But in general, I think it's very interesting. Yeah, I'm trying to think about if there'd be anything about it that is not quite up my alley. But, you know, I like the power spike of when you light it, you get the, like, allied forces, and they can be pretty dang strong as well. So it makes it an interesting question on that side of it as well. Like, even after you've established yourself in the floor, you're pretty sure you want to raise your torch. Do you use it for this encounter, or do you save it for that unique that's maybe around the next corner that you could really use that extra firepower for? Additionally, it helps you kind of jumpstart the snowballing process, because with Yred, you're so much about like amassing your zombie army, overwhelming with numbers. You know, there's not a lot the enemies can do, and when you initially light up, that's definitely a good start to kind of convert into a zombie army over the next bit. So I like that aspect a lot as well. But that makes sense. It definitely forced a new style for you. That said, sometimes that's something that makes the game interesting. Quaz is similar in that respect, makes you play the game a different way. I think that's a good comparison too, where Quaz, yeah, has the same question of like, it could very easily fall on either side of that challenging versus frustrating dichotomy, and it manages for me to land firmly in the challenging, especially since I think both in this Yred case and in the Quaz case, you're sacrificing a decent chunk of your normal playstyle and, you know, kind of safety for what is an appreciable boon. So it doesn't feel bad. You still feel powerful in your own, which I think is an important part. Whenever you're taking away power from a player, you give them some semblance of still feeling like they haven't, you know, lost everything in the mix. And I think that it so far manages to definitely tiptoe that line, for me at least. Aha. That, my friends, is an end vault. We actually do have this lovely little choke corner, though. Elementalists have the new cannon spell, it looks like. Oh, that's fun. Well, first I'm seeing it in action, not exactly how I always imagined it to be, but very cool. I do like it. For now, though, let's drop an exclusion there, finish off the rest of the floor so that, you know, if push comes to shove and we beat a hasty retreat, we have that option available to us. Oh, right, and I kind of forgot about the thermic dynamos. I think we did see that in our previous run, but good to get reminded of some of the new monsters every once in a while. Especially, you know, getting reminded in this context versus they pop around the corner and it's, oh god, what is that? It's too late, I'm already dead. Generally not the best option there. I need you all to chill slightly. I'm going to recall you. we're gonna let them come to us. This corner will go away very quickly if they have too many of the elemental sons of guns show up, but for the moment here, I think it's working out for us. Ooh, a sin beast? What the heck are you, my friend? Okay, you don't look any different from the old, where were they, hell beasts? Is that what these things were called? It's funny how quickly your brain can kind of forget all the accumulated knowledge of the last, what is it at this point for me, like 15 years? But okay, we've dodged around enough corners that I don't think anyone will really find us here, so we can get a full heal out of that. In fact, the fact... or let me retread that sentence. The fact that they did find us there ended up being kind of beneficial for us, so not going to complain about that. Oh, I've not lit the torch yet. We're doing it. The time is now, and we can also, with that, drop some might on all of our sons of guns here. And let them just, you know, really go to town on those elves. Show them a little bit of what's what and who's who here in the vaults. The main thing I'm mulling over right now is, like, how much do I want to ensure Sojibo's survival here? Because there's something to be said for starting the retreat now, kind of putting us in a similar boat to last time around, you know, not allowing ourselves to even hit the point of potential, oh god, we're overrun territory. And I think that that is probably, you know, a solid foundation to build off of. Oh my gosh, the cannons can lock us in. We're losing Sojibo. Shoot. I did not expect their cannons to spawn on the other side of me. Can't do that. I'm telling boss. Well. In that case, I'm blinking out of there. I don't care for it. Classical music. I will, however, I think, fight you. One elf boy on their own, I do not mind. I'm curious how some of these cannons really work. Does seem like they are sight of line based. Sight of line based. Great word smithing out there, Torinski. It's not line of sight based, is what I was, of course, aiming for there. Let's back away with our zombie pals. Okay, I need a replacement. And I promise you, game, those cannons are no longer there. You're safe now. Let's head back. Everything will be all right. I promise you this. Just believe. There we go. Auto Explorer. Do you trust me again now? Maybe? Ooh, yikes. Let's actually let these kiddos come to me. I fell into the exact same trap as last time. What am I doing with my life? Welp. These cannons have made Elf demonstrably more annoying in my books. I guess it also blocks enemies though, so that is interesting. As long as I'm willing to use a blink scroll. Oh my gosh. I maybe didn't need to use a blink scroll. I maybe could have used the friggin' blink spell, of course. Well, whoops. Hopefully I don't regret that when we're one blink scroll short from a victory down the road. Oh me oh my. Game is gonna struggle with this one. Do they no longer summon elementals though? They don't. So choke points actually work against these sons of guns again, but At what cost? No, that's interesting to say the least. But I think what I will do is a little bit of this action. A little bit of that action. A little bit of in-between action. And that should take care of all of you. Jeez Louise, I thought you were all dead. I guess the big downside now is that we still struggle slightly with, jeez Louise, okay, let me take over here. You know, I don't even know what I was originally going for there. We struggle with something. We struggle with many things, if we're being honest with ourselves, but who knows what kind of inane baloney I was aiming for. I mean, Roka, you're not that great on your own. You can smite. I guess you're better than anything I got going on right now, so that in mind, we bind you. I think get some torchlight out there because some mighted beasties should be able to lay down the hurt pretty dang appropriately. One more for good measure. Maybe one more, maybe more than one more. There we go. Alright, Roka. Show me what you got, eh? Got your +1 Bardiche. Actually, I didn't realize you'd get to keep some of your stuff. Wait a second. Chainmail of Willpower. Have I just, forced myself to not have access? Please tell me it's still on the floor. Son of a gun, it's not. Yikes. Door for us, shall we?